Before we get started today, we would like to take a moment to do a land acknowledgement for the Little Traverse Bay Bands of Odawa Indians. So we acknowledge that the land on which we gather today is the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary land of the Waganasing Odawak. We recognize the Odawa people as the original caretakers of this land of the Crooked Tree, and honor their deep connection to the water, forests, and wildlife of the Great Lakes region. We pay respect to their elders, past and present, and honor their stewardship of this land since time immemorial. And thank you and welcome to the 21st Annual Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce State of the Community Program. My name is Jeffrey Neal. I know a lot of you. It's great to see you guys today. And I'm with Osborne Klein Ameriprise Financial. I'm honored once again to be here today as one of your speakers, and it's great to see so many leaders in the room that have an impact on our community. We are excited to have 10 great speakers today who will cover multiple subjects in an interview-style program. And before we get started, I'd like to take time to acknowledge a few dignitaries who are with us today. We have State Representative Parker Fairburn of the 107th District, the Honorable Winnie Wemugwes, Tribal Chairperson with the Little Traverse Bay Bands of Odawa Indians, Melanie Collinsworth is here on behalf of U.S. Congressman Jack Bergman. Tom Bratton is here on behalf of U.S. Senator Alyssa Slotkin. And Kelly Lively is here on behalf of U.S. Senator Gary Peters. Let's give all of them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Events like this one today are made possible by the incredible support of our sponsors, and we would like to take this time to thank them for their investment in the Chamber and in our community. Our platinum sponsor for today's program is Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, longtime supporter of the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce. And I would like to invite Chris Straub to join us to share a few words about Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Thank you.
Forget it.
So hello, everybody. It's nice to be here today. In fact, it's a real pleasure to be here. So on behalf of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Michigan and Blue Care Network, we're proud to be the platinum sponsor for today's event. Blue Cross has been a strong financial and community partner of the Petoskey Chamber now for over 30 years, which really kind of blows my mind. We choose to support the Chamber and the Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance because of events like this and the work that Nikki and her team do, supporting businesses, community partners, and the entire Little Traverse region as a great place to live and thrive. This year, perhaps more than ever, understanding our business environment and our challenges and how our region relates to what's happening in Michigan and our country and really globally is key to our success right here in Northern Michigan. So I'm looking forward to hearing our speakers today, as I'm sure you are. Just a couple thoughts here on the Blue Cross and Blue Shield front. So we also have a significant role in our local, state, and national economy as it relates to health insurance, health plans, and provider access. As the state's largest health insurer and the third largest Blue Cross and Blue Shield plan in the country, we take our responsibility to lead very seriously and also to help impact the cost of health care. The cost of health care and medications, not a surprise, has been increasing significantly over the last several years, more than the normal pace, impacting premiums and rates for all of us. So what is our primary focus right now in this season? It's affordability of care for our customers and for our members. So what are we doing to address affordability? Well, here are a few of the things that we're doing to attack the issue of affordability. One, we're working closely with our healthcare providers and our partners to base payments to providers on value and not simply volume. So that includes programs like Blueprint for Affordability and our Value Partnerships program that focus on improving healthcare outcomes and reimbursing based on that and not just on volume. Additionally, we're expanding our plan choices and our options for employer groups and individuals across the state. Programs like Blue Elect Plus, which is our POS, our point of service plan, is one way that we're reducing the cost for people without compromising benefits at the same time. We're also working to reduce our administrative costs. Our goal over the next 3 years is to reduce administrative costs by about $600 million, which is another way that we can work toward reducing costs for all of you. So on behalf of Blue Cross and Blue Shield, if you're a member or a customer, I thank you. I thank you for your business. And I think at this point I'm going to turn it back over to Nikki so we can continue on. So thank you for the time.
I'm going to give it. There we go.
Good job.
Thanks, Chris.
I'm not as pretty as Nikki, but I'll try to do my best here. We'd also like to thank our gold sponsor, Consumers Energy, and representing Consumers Energy is someone we're all familiar with, Mr. Carlin Smith, Community Affairs Manager of Northern Michigan, and he's here to share a few words with us. Good to see you, Carlin.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. So good to see everybody here. So good to be back in this room. Thank you to the Odawa Casino for this is such a great facility. It needs to be utilized. And look how many good-looking people we can cram into a room in one afternoon. So that's a great thing. So thank you to everybody for being here. Thanks to the Chamber for continuing this tradition. When I worked at the Chamber several years ago now, I loved this event, and I'm glad to see that the tradition is continuing. Congratulations to Emily, Molly, Lisa, Nikki for keeping this thing going. I think it's a great, important thing for the Chamber to be doing, an extremely relevant event. So thank you. So as Community Affairs Manager for Consumers Energy, my message is going to sound a lot like Chris's. The buzzword of the day, right, is affordability. You hear it everywhere. It's going to be a big talking point in all the elections that's going on. And it's on our minds as well at Consumers Energy, just like at Blue Cross Blue Shield. We have put together a cross-functional team of many departments in Consumers Energy to take a deep dive into the affordability issue. Our goal is to work with others to help champion affordability for all of our customers and all of you. So some of the work we're focusing on is operational efficiencies, much like Blue Cross Blue Shield. How can we apply technology, innovation, streamline processes to run our company more efficiently? How can we help you, our customer, to use less energy? It's a strange model for a business, but we do better actually when you use less of our product. And so how can we help you use less energy? We're also aligning a lot of economic development efforts in Consumers Energy, and that may not make sense to others, but if we can bring in new large business customers to our Consumers Energy network, they actually help pay for the infrastructure improvements and things so it doesn't fall in the back of our residential customers and small business customers. And then on the other side, we're just collaborating with many state, regional, local organizations to connect customers to support energy assistance programs for those who need it. We don't want people to have to make a choice between their utility bill and groceries or childcare or the things that grab our money every week. So again, we know energy costs are a barrier to residents as well as business customers. We hear you. We're working hard to help address this critical issue. So again, thanks for this opportunity. Glad Consumers Energy can be a sponsor. That's a happy moment for me when I get approval to do the Petoskey Chambers event. So glad we can do that and look forward to today's event. So again, thank you.
Thanks, Carlin. All right, big thank you to Consumers Energy for being our gold sponsor. They've done that for many years. We'd also like to take this time to recognize our silver sponsor, OHM Advisors, our bronze sponsors, Networks Northwest and Munson Healthcare. And you were greeted by our registration sponsor, Amazon Hub, as you guys were coming in. And I hope you're able to snag some of the goodies that they had there as you guys were walking in the building. And a very special thank you to our venue host. We haven't been back for many years, and it really feels like home. So a big thank you to Odawa Casino for having us back. Big round of applause for them. As you can see, we have some beautiful furniture up here as well today, and that's provided by Little Travers Furniture and Mattress. And they've taken the time to decorate the stage to make it feel like home, like we're having a conversation with our family and our friends. And we want to be sure that you don't miss this moment. There's some people that couldn't be here today, and today's program is being recorded by Alpine Media. So big thank you to Dewan and Alpine Media for recording the event today. So thank you to all of our sponsors. We truly appreciate the support of the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce. You can give them a big round of applause. We couldn't do this without you. So to help ensure everyone leaves today fully informed, we've once again assembled our State of the Community report, and it's been curated as a collection of insights from different agencies and organizations across the region. I'm fortunate I get the one and only hard copy, but there are QR codes on your tables, and that'll take you to the reports. And there are 38 reports covering a wide range of topics shaping Northern Michigan. So there's things like healthcare, all different types of nonprofit organizations are in that report. Talks about education, things that are important to us and our families. And that report was compiled by Emily Stuchel from the Petoskey Chamber. And I want to give her a big round of applause here. It is a lot of work to put all those reports together. So thank you, Emily, for doing all of that hard work and putting that together for us. And as I said, there's the QR code on the table, and that's how you're going to access that report digitally. And so who's ready to get the show started? Are you guys ready to hear from some of our speakers? You're pumped full of coffee and sugar and fruits. So each year, we are always so encouraged reading the reports submitted, as each one showcases how truly impactful our community is. And speaking of impact, our chamber is relentless in their efforts to champion our businesses and our community, and they are truly working every day for the future success of our region. So let's check in with Nikki Devitt, President and CEO of the Petoskey Chamber, for some key highlights from the Chamber and what's going on and what's on the horizon for today's event.
Thank you, Jeff. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see everyone here once again. As everyone's referenced, it's been a while. So I double checked. February 7th, 2020. Oh yeah, we're all gonna make that face. That was the last time we were able to host our event here. And as we said, this is the 21st annual State of the Community, but for so many years, the gathering was also part of this community and part of being in the Odawa Casino and having the space and all of the wonderful faces we get to see today. And I looked back and I was not at all shocked at what the topics were of the 2020 State of the Community. We were talking about education. We were talking about impacts from regulatory issues. We were talking about housing's a good idea. Should we do something about that? And we were also talking about, oddly enough, high water. Remember that? Because it was 3 months later, the wheelway washed into the bay. So, and it was also a month later that our world started to change. So it's been a while, but I want to say a huge thank you and miigwech to Odawa Casino for allowing us to come back, because it is absolutely fantastic to be back here where we can see all of your amazing faces once again. So another big round of applause for being back. And this is going to be fun because I left my glasses back there. Carlin, that's what I was trying to mouth to you, but I can't because my microphone's live. So I wouldn't have needed glasses in 2020, but I do now. So one of the things I want to comment on and how much it's just important for this event, and we've already kind of talked a little bit about that because it is such a core piece of what the Chamber does, but one of the reasons that I think it's important is because this room is filled, if you haven't noticed, with our business owners, our nonprofit leaders, our educators, our healthcare professionals, our public servants, our invested community members. Yeah, those are my glasses. I'm old. Oh my God, that's what it looks like. Okay. All right, good. We were winging it. Thank you, Carlin. Okay, so it does have a specific purpose, this event. In being part of the community, everyone is here. We want everyone to take part. We want everyone to contribute because you all contribute. This event is not about headlines, sound bites, the latest news on your social media channel. We don't want to be your soundbite. We want to be your community because we are. It's about clarity. It's about awareness. And if you take anything away today, it's we're going to understand what's new, what's changing, what's coming, what deserves to be celebrated across our region. And to be honest, I think we all can agree clarity and awareness is something we all need right now, probably more than ever. We're navigating a period of continued change. We talk about 2020 was the last time we were here. I keep saying, we got this. That was a hard year. Let's do it again. And guess what? It's continued change. We're in a catalyst moment where everything continues to change. But that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. Our economic conditions are evolving. Our policy conversations are very active at every level, as they should be. And growth is happening, believe it or not, but it's not evenly. And it's not without pressure. And that puts a lot on our businesses and our communities and organizations trying to plan ahead, because if we haven't figured it out yet, uncertainty is just as difficult to manage as disruption is. But that's where your chamber comes in. That's what we like to do. At the chamber, our core is to be your catalyst, your convener, your connector, and your advocate. And if you look up on the screen, you're going to see the numbers from 2025 to show just what we mean by that. When we say we have passion for our community, when we say we want to bring impact, that's exactly what we do. It's our job to bring people together, to elevate our shared priorities, to translate what's happening around us in Lansing and across the country into something that is understandable, actionable, and something that our members and the people who call this place home can work with. We understand that not a single sector of our community operates in a silo, so when one feels a challenge and opportunity, we all feel it. So our format matters today because we get to have these conversations, these wholesome conversations with the people who are leading the challenges, but also leading the opportunities for change. So these interview-style conversations are here to give you context and to be part of our community, because it's all of us together. That's the way we look at it. Jeff mentioned the reports. That is your takeaway from here. Reading them is worth every ounce of your time to see what your community is doing. You're going to hear about workforce today, education, healthcare access, economic vitality, nonprofit services, local government priorities, and regional advocacy. We're going to go fast, and we're going to get a lot crammed in a short amount of time, so I encourage you to use the reports, go back to the video, and make sure that you reach out to the individuals you see today. Our hope is that you're going to leave better informed, connected, and confident on how we move our region forward. The strength of Northern Michigan has never been more needed than it is now, today, forward in 26, and that's how we're going to do it together. We're going to solve the challenges. We're going to celebrate our successes, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that the Chamber is honored that we get to help you do that. And I want to give a huge thank you to Lisa, Emily, and Molly, your chamber team, who get up every day and champion these efforts because they know that it matters. Regardless of the situation that we're in, we want to see a bright future for us all. So we are going to get started. I'm going to invite our first group up onto the stage. And I'm going to turn it to Lisa Hoyt to conduct our very first interview. Please welcome our guests.
All right, wonderful. North Central Michigan College continues to play a critical role in preparing our workforce for jobs that exist right now and those emerging in the years ahead. From fast-track training to university partnerships, the college is helping to close gaps while expanding opportunity across our region. We're so excited to be joined with Cassandra Hernandez, the new Dean of Workforce and Continuing Education. So the college has been moving quickly to respond to workforce demand. What new or expanded fast-track programs should our audience be paying attention to right now? And also, when can we expect to start to see some of these programs coming out?
Thank you. And first, I'd like to welcome everybody on behalf of North Central Michigan College, our president and our board of trustees. We thank the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce for allowing this type of discourse to happen. Really thrilled to help kick off today. And, you know, we need to take pride that North Central Michigan College has just been recently named by the Aspen Institute. It's one of the top 200 colleges in the nation. And as you're looking for new clients and you're looking for new customers, point to the type of first-class training that you're going to get in Northern Michigan. We're also very proud through a 2024 economic impact analysis. we have seen over $80 million of added new income into this region. And so it is critical that our leadership provides and responds by way of fast-track programs and new associate degrees and transfer programs. And so if you hear the word fast-track, what you need to know is that these are non-credit programs to get you in and out as quickly as possible so we can respond to employer needs. And this is under the leadership of Dr. David Finley and our Board of Trustees, who have given us the autonomy and ability to respond directly to corporate needs. And we're really excited to help launch a new dental hygiene program. And with the support of our Dean, Brent, and Rico, we're going to be able to provide these services and reduce your dental appointment wait times, our hope is. And so here's a perfect example of how fast-track programs are responding. We can start with the dental assisting program. And I heard from one of my speakers that her daughter was in high school, went through the program. The day after she graduated, she had a job. And our hope is that she will continue on the dental hygiene program. That is just some examples, and we have a list up here of the programs that you can expect to see.
Yes, you have programming for manufacturing, as well as healthcare and business and technology. So let's kind of focus on the trades and skilled positions. Employers are always looking for positions to be filled. And I know you've really focused to fill those gaps. So what kind of early results are you seeing?
Well, I'm really excited to see that where are some of our examination rates for our healthcare programs. I mean, just for example, our NCLEX nursing students, they have nearly 100% pass rate. I mean, that is indicative of having good quality training instructors and a clear pathway of how we're going to respond to the community needs. We're also seeing a high demand and a high need for skilled trades programs. And so if you want to build your infrastructure, you want to build housing in the community, you've got to have that talented workforce. And so with the support of our Board of Trustees, the North Central Michigan College Capital Plan over the next couple of years, we've got some movement. We've got some yellow cones and some work happening at the college. If you haven't been there, we would encourage you to do a tour. And so we're getting ready to open up our new KD Center, the Center for Technical and Education Enhancement Center. That's going to open this summer. We're also excited for the Martin Yon Technology Center. Here, we'll be able to provide over HVAC programs, welding, CNC, robotics. And so these are the very specific skilled trades that our community is lacking. You will not find these specific focused training facilities in Northern Michigan for over an hour away. And so it is critical that the college responds, and that is what your community college is here to do. React, respond, and ensure that our economy has the specialized workforce that is required to grow our economy. And the most exciting, which is something that my marching orders are, is to build our new programs in our skilled trades training programs, which is going to be in our STEP Center. We are fundraising right now. It's underway. It'll come in a couple of years. And that STEP program is to build our construction trades. We're going to have carpentry. We're going to have welding, HVAC. The things that you struggle to find that skilled workforce, we are going to help prepare this community for the 21st century so we can be globally competitive.
And I think I read that this year there were 191 fast-track completers. So once all these programs are coming online, it'll be incredible to see what that number looks like. We're going to switch over to talk a little bit about the partnerships that you have developed with the University of Michigan Dearborn or Grand Valley, and talk about how having these pathways helps our area talent and just expands, again, additional programming and reach.
Well, the college is excited to have transfer programs. We have over 20, and the latest two is the 2+2 program, our education program. A recent announcement was just named with the University of Michigan Dearborn. This is a perfect example of how we expand our limited resources, understanding that we are geographically isolated. And so these partnerships are critical to ensure that our students stay, They get educated here and they don't leave, because once they leave, it is really hard to retract them and boomerang them back. So part of this program, for the education program, students can complete their 2 years here with North Central, and then 2 years through an online hybrid program through the University of Dearborn. Then they can do their programming here in the K through 12 school system, so they never have to leave. So we can have local ties and our local talent stay here. The next one is with the Grand Valley State University through our healthcare and allied programs. And it's very exciting because now students can stay here in Northern Michigan, and students who are interested in pre-med, pre-vets, optometry, OT, PT, physician assistants. That is what is critical to have a healthy workforce. And through these partnerships, and specifically through Grand State University, we'll be able to get them here for 2 years, then through a hybrid model online and in person, they can stay in Traverse City to do a physician assistant program, so they never have to leave Northern Michigan, keeping our workforce here. And so, point blank, the college is here to respond to your needs. Whether it's fast track, we can respond immediately. Whether it's long-term dental hygiene programs, we're going to be the solution. There's no cavalry here to save us. We are our own best solution and advocates. And I'm really proud to be part of the work that the college is doing. We hope that you'll keep an eye out on new programming. We have a special announcement coming in February 17th. And this is how Petoskey positions itself for long-term success. A highly skilled workforce, a community that values diversity and respectful discourse. And I'm so excited to be part of that. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to hearing from my peers.
Thank you for sharing all of the amazing work and focus on building that workforce capacity. We're going to jump on over to that side of the stage. So Nikki, we're going to talk a little bit about local government.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and thank you, Cassandra. That was fantastic. So we know local government plays a very critical role in shaping the quality of life, the long-term success of our region, whether that be infrastructure or planning on housing, growth management, emergency response. We're going to talk about all these things. We're joined today by Shane Horn, who is the city manager of the city of Petoskey, and David Boyer, who's county administrator for Emmett County, to show us kind of where things stand and what is on the horizon. But we're going to start with Shane. Are you ready? Okay. So if you haven't noticed, everyone, the city has made several investments in recent years that residents and businesses are actually finally beginning to see firsthand. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Even though there's a lot going on, you might not see that building pop up or that road improve, so you don't realize. What else those improvements or projects should the community be most encouraged by right now?
Thank you, Nikki. It's good to be here. Thank you to your team as well for putting this event on. We're certainly thrilled to be here and hear from other sectors of our community. For those of you that know Mayor Murphy, he's got a couple, call them Murphyisms. A couple of them are, he says, life is good. He's kind of adopted that life is good motto. And the other thing he says is we go slow, but we get it right. And those are his two slogans. He's kind of ingrained them into me and our staff as well. And I would echo that. Life is good. We've had certainly some challenges in 2025 that we all went through. But I will sit here and say it's great to live in a community that is very resilient, that is hands out to each other and supports one another. We have some very important priorities and very big goals and action items, but sometimes when you have that sitting in front of you, you can get overwhelmed fairly easily. But we live in a community that is, we work together to solve issues, whether it's the county, whether it's all the nonprofits in the room that are here today. We're all moving forward to address big issues in our community, and it's not just the city trying to solve some of these issues on our own. So I thank you. I appreciate the level of investment that each of you have in our community. For the city, and I'm going to shout out a couple council members. Number one, I have a performance review coming up, so it can't hurt. So Charlie Wilmot, our newly elected Ward 2 council member, is here. Thank you, Charlie. And Lindsay Walker, our Ward 4 council member, I believe, is here as well. Hi, Lindsay. Thank you. So I get to work with an outstanding group of elected officials that set the course for our city. I have an outstanding staff that we strive every day to provide effective and efficient essential services to our community. So thank you, council members, for your attendance today. One thing that I learned very quickly, we have a very short construction season in Petoskey. Number one, because of weather, and number two, we really want to be buttoned up, ready for the influx of visitors because we realize how very, very important they are to our economy. So that April to June is kind of our sweet spot where we need to get in, do what we need to do, and get out, cleaned up, polished up, and ready. Obviously, we try to do that on street projects. That's a little, that carries forward beyond that, but in our parks projects and our highly visible projects, we like to be buttoned up in that way. A few projects that I'd like to highlight on parks, Sunset Park improvements. Hopefully some of you have laid eyes on these improvements. You've been in those areas. Sunset Park has historically been an area where you eat your lunch in your car. But it's a beautiful spot. So how do we get people out of the car, walking in the park? So best way to do that is make it accessible pathways around the park, benches, seating, improve the view shed, so we did some clearing as well. So we think that's an outstanding improvement to that facility, just a refresh of a beautiful park. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, hopefully you will this summer. Pennsylvania Park improvements, this is Park Avenue, kind of right behind the Chamber building all the way to Bay Street. We widened the sidewalk area, make it more friendly, pedestrian-wise, to just have 3 or 4 of you walk through that stretch. We added lights, picnic benches, trash receptacles, just try to, again, refresh that area, make it a little wider, easier to maneuver through that area, and also did some utility improvements. Bayfront Arboretum Trail, this is, and I don't know the official name, I always call it the turnaround bathrooms in the Bayfront. All the way to kind of Boyne Country Sports. We had a section of the wheelway, which was probably our most deteriorated or challenging. We removed the asphalt, we widened the trail with a new concrete surface. So that was done in '25. So the phase 2 of that project is really to naturalize the green area, native plants, native plantings, interpretive area. So look forward to that phase 2 in the near future as well. And we've been spending a lot of time with master plans. You may have heard some of our meetings. So we've been taking the time to go and really address every one of our parks with a master plan. It's a lot of effort, a lot of work, but we've gone through that process at Pennsylvania Park, neighborhood parks at Curtis, Lockwood, Washington, River Road Sports Complex, and Winter Sports Park is what we're working on right now. So the beautiful thing about a master plan is it really has community engagement wrapped in it. It's the core of what a master plan really is. So we've been getting a lot of feedback. Our role is to try to compile all that feedback, get it in front of our elected officials, and try to move forward with a plan that makes the most sense for our community. So that's what we've been working on across the community. One of the mayor's priorities last year was he was hearing, we need a dog park. We need a dog park. So we've started that process. We've found a location within the Bear River recreational area that we started in the fall. By early summer, we'll be ready to go with a dog park in that area. We'll be adding amenities, water fountains, benches, obviously fences here in the spring, so look forward to that. Another of the mayor's priorities was to really organize an art commission, promoting public art in our community. So we have a 9-member commission that is really working art professionals in our community that are assisting us in really trying to promote public art. So our first endeavor was the tunnel underneath the highway. Hopefully you've all seen that, enjoyed that. Take a look at that. We have another project that actually will be delivered here anytime. That'll be our second installation along the bayfront, and then we're working on an installation at Sunset Park as well. One other thing to hit on is our Youth Advisory Council. This is Council Member DeMoore, is kind of our liaison for that group. She's providing leadership to local high school students that are hopefully getting engaged in our community. If you look at the makeup of our elected officials, they're over 70 years old. So we need to make sure that our elected body has a good representation of our community. So hopefully we can gear up local youth in our community to step forward in those seats at some point in the future, and that's what we're trying to do with the Youth Advisory Council.
The big stuff. This is what everybody's,
so,
you're all waiting for this next slide. Yeah, this is what we want to make sure we cover.
Infrastructure is, and I have to give credit to our elected body, this is a huge priority for them. Economic development really cannot happen without infrastructure underground. Some of these things aren't crazy sexy when you talk about underground water, sewer, electric, but it's needed. Without it, you can't do economic development. So all of you saw Howard Street reconstruction. This is from State Street all the way to Sheridan. New water, sewer, curb gutter, sidewalks, undergrounding our electric. So we did as much as we could until winter. We have one more phase from Fulton to Jennings that we need to do. We'll pick that up in the spring of this year, and that project will be complete. Typically what we do is we do a fairly large reconstruction like this 1 year, and then we'll pause, number one, because it's a lot of effort and work, and number two, we have to let our budget kind of recover. This is a $3.5 million project on Howard Street. So the next phase to this year, we're continuing on Howard Street, but we're going from East Mitchell to Michigan Street. So kind of at that intersection of East Mitchell, we'll be tearing up the concrete, replacing that, moving to Michigan Street, new concrete intersection, sidewalk in Penn Park. One of the things we're also going to do, we did a Christmas tree planting, so hopefully you all saw that, and we can let this beautiful Christmas tree grow and become the beautiful tree that it is, and continue to do that. But we're going to create a little bit of a hardscape around it, a little plaza, if you will, with benches and seating. So I'll be able to sit and enjoy that area with some more amenities. Undergrounding of electric infrastructure. We spend over $1 million each year on undergrounding our electrical, and I will say this paid dividends in March of 25. This allowed us to really recover from the ice storm much quicker than maybe some of our neighboring communities. And really, this is a credit to former Public Works Director Mike Robbins. This was a passion of his over the last 20 years. Our elected body reinvests in this line item every year. And when we had power restored to our substations, we were in really good shape across our neighborhoods, really because our infrastructure is underground. And so, again, credit to past leadership for making that investment. And as I traveled the country in the different areas, I see where you see electric poles and lines, and just how wonderful it is to be able to look out and not see those poles, those lines in our neighborhoods. We all love the view sheds that we have up here, and so protecting that is so vitally important. So, and then one thing that we picked up on. Am I running out of time?
You're gonna, yeah. I'm gonna take the mic away in a minute. No, I don't want to though, and this is the problem. We're trying to cram everything in such a short amount of time because there is so much value in everything that's being said. And how many of you regularly attend a city or county or township meeting and stay up to date on these things?
So the last slide I'll hit on real quick is housing, and that again, that's that community project that we're all working on together. I see a lot of partners in the room that have really stepped up. You know, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to roll your sleeve up and find solutions to these big issues. So again, credit to a lot of you that are in this room. Obviously, the block at Petoskey, 204 units, the lofts at Lumber Square, 60 units. Victory Square, this is not a city project, but we want to certainly give credit to the tribe on what they're accomplishing in that affordable housing development. And then we hear phase 2 is potentially on the horizon, so that's great news for our community. Former Hotel Del Rey, this is on the corner of Michigan and Emmett. This is a 9-unit redevelopment of workforce housing. Former Leo's Lounge downtown. You can kind of see now they're starting some of the demo inside. That'll also be 8 units of residential and as well as a new restaurant located at that former Leo's Lounge spot. City Park Grill, we'll have 5 affordable housing units above City Park Grill that we're working with the owners on. Credit to Northwest Michigan Habitat for Humanity. Emily has been a great partner with me on trying to facilitate a $500,000 MSHDA Chill Grant. That's been a big undertaking. Emily's been a complete rock star to assist me with this effort. So we're able to walk alongside about 10 to 12 property owners and get those funds reallocated to projects that need this assistance. And then zoning reform. We're going through that process of rewriting a 1974 zoning ordinance. So that's an ongoing process. You'll be hearing more about that very quickly. And then code enforcement, we've heard it. We've brought forward a full-time staff position. We've passed some pretty significant ordinances of late, vacant building and dangerous building ordinances. I'm one that loves to approach someone with the carrot first and try to work and collaborate and find solutions to issues. At some point, the carrot goes away and you have to kind of get the hammer out. And in some cases, that's where we're at with a few property owners that I don't even need to mention. You can probably figure that out. So those are things that we're working on very diligently. We've heard the complaints. We're working very hard to try to get some of these concerning properties turned over.
And I have to say, please give a round of applause to anybody who has made the conversations on housing happen, because what you're seeing now in 2020, the last time we were in this room, were dreams. So quick round of applause for all those who have done that. It's taken a lot. I'm going to give you 33 seconds to answer this question. Petoskey is growing, evolving. You just said master plans are a beautiful thing. They absolutely and truly are, because they're an outline for action, not something to stick up on a shelf. Can you tell us a little bit about what that city decision-making has to be, because you have a balance. You have infrastructure, you have housing, you have maintaining community character. 30 seconds, how do you balance all that?
So my office is full of binders of plans, and we, in local government and county government, we love our plans. We reference them. I pull them off the shelf all the time. Council's priorities are fairly straightforward. Parks and public spaces, infrastructure, economic development, downtown development, sustainability, affordable, attainable housing, and community engagement. Our budgets kind of are a roadmap or our guide to get us to where we need to be. We put our money where our mouth is. If it's a priority, it's in our budget, and we make that happen. The housing needs assessment, we refer to this quite a lot as well. What are the true numbers? We're a data-driven organization, so we make decisions based on data that we have, and so we use that study quite a bit. I see Denny from Bear Creek Township. We partnered with Bear Creek and Resort to put together a needs assessment from a water reliability study. We get a lot of folks knocking on our door asking about development that may be outside of our region. So we work very closely with Bear Creek Township, Resort Township, and how do we find, we're the water provider, so we have to make sure that we have capacity to serve those developments. So we put this plan together to assist us in that effort. My last statement, just a public service announcement, would be if you have a policy that's coming up, if you hear about a policy, if you hear about a project, and you're very passionate about it, I encourage you to come to a meeting. I encourage you to reach out to a council member. The negative voices are easy to hear. We hear them all the time. Those voices we don't hear enough are those folks that are really passionate and want to promote a policy or a project. So I encourage you, get involved, reach out to a council member. It's a simple email. We have Zoom all of our meetings, so we make it very easy for you to comment through Zoom. So get involved, because if you're not involved, the negative voices will dictate how this community goes forward. So thank you.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Dave's like, I got 30 seconds for all my stuff.
You told me that I only get 3 minutes. And
I did tell you that. I did tell you that. No.
Right, so I will try to keep mine shorter.
Oh, look what's happening now. But a great comment to kind of lead into here, because you said negative voices. So David, I'm going to throw this to you, because the county received funding from the American Rescue Plan Act, known as ARPA, And sometimes you don't get to say what you've done, which is a huge positive. So, and obviously the slides are really hard to read, so we do send the slides out later, so
You
don't worry about
modified,
it.
I did win how many slides were submitted. I
Okay, see,
didn't know there
this
was
one
only
wants
3.
to talk for an hour, that one wanted to send 15 slides, so. It's all good, it's all good, I love these guys.
So the county did receive $6.4 million in ARPA funding, and our Board of Commissioners spent quite a while trying to determine what to do with that funding. I think you see across the country that people used it for different things. Our board was very insistent. We wanted money to go back into the community. So what we did is looked at how do we get this money back into the community. So we put together a grant, a matching grant program to all the cities, villages, and townships, 21, which fallen within Emmett County. And anything that fell under ARPA, infrastructure, there was a whole list of things that you could do. So that money went out. The first round was so successful, we said, let's do another $50,000. So that gets close to $2 million. I will share that a majority of the money went into infrastructure, into roads. They used, the different townships and villages used that money to piggyback on roads that were being constructed, so we could do more with that. The second phase of this was, we talked about it, you mentioned it, housing, and what can the county do? There's a lot of discussion. So we just decided to partner with the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. They are already providing assistance in the community. So we took $1 million and put that over 3 years, and we thought that was important to get it in there for first-time home buyers, down payment assistance. I know it's worked very well with the development that the Habitat's working on. We had lot assistance. We have new developments that are going in that have lot leases, and we thought it was important to be able to help with the down payment on that. And we also were looking at, in the community, we want to get people into homes, but we also want to keep people in homes. Anybody that was facing foreclosure, property, they're behind in their property taxes, that funding and counseling was available to help them through that. So we felt that was important. Road Commission came to us. There were some projects that they were working on. Mitchell Road from Division into Petoskey, they needed some funding. We helped out with that. Lakeshore Drive, Cross Village up to Sturgeon Bay needed funding to finish that project. We helped out with that. Camp Petoskey Road, the road leading into Petoskey, was a county road. We as a county wanted that improved. We have a lot of trailers coming in there. Road was not in good shape, so we funded that project. And the last one for the Road Commission, they were looking for new signs throughout the county. If you saw the signs, the road signs were fading, so we helped them out and put in all new signs throughout the community. Health Department came to us and asked for funding to digitize their health records, which was a great project, one for preserving the records, but also now it's much easier for residents to go on and get that information. Child care was another big initiative. The college approached us and asked for some funding to help out with the child care initiative. We were happy to support that. And then coming down into Emmett County, what type of improvements can we do in Emmett County? We put $2 million for infrastructure. Probably about 4 years ago, we did a study in Emmett County of all county facilities, and it determined we needed about $54 million of funding to bring up all of our facilities up to standards. Obviously, we don't have that, but we put $2 million towards improvements at Camp Petoskey. Our roads and our parking lots needed to be replaced. We did upgrades to our security cameras in all of our facilities. We did upgrades to our parking lots at our county facilities, which after we leave for work are open to the public. We're also to take some of this funding and offset during COVID, and that time offset our salary and benefits and our hazard pay. And then finally with the funding, we thought it was very important to keep our relationship with NLE, our partnership, and put funding in there for the next 3 years. That is one of the driving forces, what they do for economic development here in the county.
Absolutely, could
See,
not
that's
agree
3
more.
minutes.
Nice job.
Yeah.
I didn't have my timer on, but okay, we're going to share that. So we actually could spend the whole program on this part, but we're not going to. We're going to spend less than 3 minutes because Shane took your time. It's fine. Yes. Just kidding. We have to look at the fact that 25 reminded us what happens when unexpected events occur and the importance of actions and lessons learned and what that does for us. I mean, none of us have forgotten. We could do a whole slideshow just of the images, but you don't get to have all the slides. You get to answer
I know,
in
you
2
took them
minutes.
all away from me.
I did.
I don't think the ice storm is anything that anybody's forgot. The one thing that we thought was interesting, you know, it was so devastating what it did to our trees and our forests. But it was when tourist season starts up again, nobody's even going to notice it. And then when the leaves came back on, you really didn't see the damage that was there. But it certainly was a trying time here for us, for the county, for the cities, the villages, the residents. It was something that we've never faced or haven't faced in a long time. It really underscored for us the importance of really a strong coordinated emergency response. And right from the beginning, the county opened up, which we call the EOC, our Emergency Operations Center. And that center is our townships, villages, police, fire, all of our special service groups that will come in and help in these disasters. And, you know, it really was great to see as this evolved that all of these municipalities, villages, and police, sheriff, everybody in that room really came together as one team. And I think that's what really helped. The volunteers that we had were great. We talk about partnerships and look at the strengths in the region and partnerships. I think too often we feel that if a situation happens in our community, we can rely on one of the other counties to come in and help us. And in this situation, that wasn't going to happen. We were all impacted. And even when you think to try to get our first responders to our site, we all had to cut our way out to try to get into work. And that's where the state came in. They opened their EOC up, similar to us. They provided the National Guard. We would have liked to seen them up earlier than we
Couple
did.
days sooner would have been
It would
great.
have sure been nice, but you know, they got our power companies from around the country mobilized. They came up here, and when you looked at the damage to the grid, and I know Carlin can talk about that, and it was incredible to see the damage that happened to the grid. It wasn't just your line in front of the house. Our major lines coming in were damaged. We also knew right at the beginning, as we were starting to get all of our reports in, that we needed, we weren't going to have electricity for a long time. We needed to put shelters in place, and we did that throughout the county. This was one, and I thank the tribe for allowing this to be one of the biggest sites that we had was open. The airport was open in the north. We had shelters in Harbor Springs. The community really came together to support that, to get food, water, heat, electricity. Trying to find a place to charge your cell phone was something that these centers really helped out with, be able to charge your electrical or your medical devices that you needed. I think one of the highlights, and I think of the storm, is really truly how this community came together. Yes. Our first responders, our EMS, our road crews, our utility workers, the volunteers, they worked around the clock. There was roads that were impassable we couldn't get into, and they were there going door to door, knocking on doors. We were taking water, trying to make sure everybody was safe, and they were, and I think that is great to see. It also showed us our vulnerabilities, our infrastructure vulnerabilities. You talk about underground. The problem is that they're all above ground coming to our underground, and we saw the problems that we faced there. I will tell you the debris management was one of our biggest challenges. There was no way that the county or anyone could really take care of the amount of debris that we had coming in. And early on, we opened up the debris centers throughout the county and had residents be able to come in and drop off the trees. And I would say that we were always asking for tree debris. We only saw a few decks and other building material that came in, but for the most part, everybody brought the materials. We hired a company to come in to grind this all up. 650 semi-loads of wood chips flew out of the Hathaway site, and fortunately that was used to generate electricity down in Grayling and other places around the site. Communication was another big thing. How do we, without power, how do we get that message out? We were sending press releases out daily, sometimes twice a day. We were using the 211 system where you can call in to report problems you had, but our big partner was CCE 911. The dispatch unit, we're receiving a lot of phone calls. They did a great job getting it over to the OC, and then we were able to send our crews out and try to address the problems that we had. I guess really my final statement in there is that we were stronger because we worked together. I could talk for hours about the number of people that it took to make this happen
Right.
and support the community, but I know that he took my time up. Some photographs, the photograph on
Yeah.
the pile of debris, that was early on.
Yeah.
Thanking the road commission right next door, and this was on Hathaway. That pile ended up being about 25 feet tall and filled that whole section, 10 acres in. We had a grinding company out there. They just finished probably a month and a half ago. But that was one of our sites. But really, I think the community should be very proud of how it came together, neighbor helping neighbor, and that's the only way we got through this, because we relied on outside help, and it took days and days for them to get here. But the community did a great job.
I could not agree more. The community was the main driver behind all of this. We saw everything that came together. The Chamber was so happy to partner with everyone in this room to be able to continue that forward. So thank you both. I appreciate you taking the time with us today and excited for what is to come in 26. We're going to take it over to Jeff now to learn a little bit about Munson's Petoskey Community Health Center.
We did a good job planning this. We knew the government officials were going to go a little long, so we just have one speaker with me. And Lindsay, if I were you, and by the way, you don't look a day over 50. I don't know what Shane's talking about, but if I were you, I'd block a whole day off for that review. Just block the whole calendar off because it should be okay. Just kidding, Shane. I love you, man. I love you. All right. So healthcare access is essential to a thriving community and a strong workforce. And as our region grows and evolves, Munson Healthcare continues to expand services locally to meet changing needs and their new Petoskey Community Health Center. And today we'll focus on what's now available and what lies ahead. And we're joined by Kirsten Korth-White, Munson Healthcare East Region President. Thank you for being here today. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
When we last checked in with Munson, you were just breaking ground on the Petoskey facility. And now that it's open, what services are available locally today that make the biggest difference for patients and families in our region?
Perfect, thank you. And I do echo the sentiments of my peers up here. This is a wonderful event. Hearing about what we're doing for education to feed the pipeline for healthcare, that's so important. We can't do what we do if you're not doing the innovative things that you're doing, and the infrastructure, housing, it's all fabulous. So I appreciate being educated on all that. And also to acknowledge that we were honored to receive the Architecture Award for Project of the Year for the Chamber. And it made me reflect when we first went to look at that building, which was currently being occupied as a Halloween store. And we walked in there and I looked at this huge expansive building and I thought, there's one bathroom. How are we going to do this with one bathroom? Well, we didn't. It was a lot of plumbing. But we did open on September 29th, and the community's been incredibly welcoming. We're truly honored to bring more care closer to home. Today, residents can access urgent care 365 days a year. Additionally, we have primary care, a full lab, comprehensive radiology suite that includes X-ray, CT, 3D mammography, ultrasound, and bone density. We also have specialists here in Petoskey, including urology, general surgery, spine care, orthopedics, nephrology, and cardiology. Having these services locally means people don't have to travel as far for the expertise they need, which makes a huge difference for patients and their families.
Awesome, and I know that we have an aging community, right? We all know this. So as demand for our care continues to grow over these next few years, and really probably over the next 10 or 20 years, really, how is Munson thinking about access and capacity particularly for residents and employers who rely on these local services?
Absolutely. Access was a top priority for us. It hits on every one of our strategies. And over the past 2 years, Munson has invested millions of dollars into expanding access points in northern Michigan. We fully expect the growth to continue, especially here in Petoskey. We're already planning for phase 2 of the 15,000 square feet of unused space that is in the Petoskey Community Health Center. And we're not quite ready to announce what the next wave of services will be. I can share that they will address gaps that we've identified in the region. Our goal is to keep building out services and make more care convenient and comprehensive for residents, families, and local businesses. Additionally, we have a new ambulatory surgical center that's opening in March in Gaylord. This initiative was part of our regional care transformation, where we plan to keep patients local and offer value. The ASC will provide outpatient surgical services, including ophthalmology, urology, orthopedics, and general surgery. It currently has 1 OR suite and 4 procedure rooms. Also, MHC has invested in the renovation to the Otsego Memorial Hospital in Gaylord, which expands capacity to allow for additional critical care beds, moving from 5 to 10, and expanding the birthing center from 6 to 11. In combination with the Petoskey Community Health Center, Munson Healthcare has invested nearly $70 million into the northeast region of the system. This includes Charlevoix, Gaylord, and Grayling. Munson Healthcare is also expanding its neonatal intensive care unit, which, while not in Petoskey, is the only NICU in northern Michigan. So a complete renovation of the NICU in Traverse City campus will begin this spring and is expected to take approximately 18 months. Munson Healthcare has also opened a mental health crisis center, which we all know is an underserved area. Last January includes urgent care for behavioral health, and the next year we're planning to add 9 adult crisis residential beds, and the final phase will be adding 6 pediatric behavioral inpatient beds.
Okay. So, we're looking ahead, we're looking at, the aging population, our growing population too. What healthcare trends or changes should our community be paying attention to over the next year or two?
Sure. First and foremost, Munson Healthcare remains committed to providing exceptional care for this community. At the same time, we're all aware healthcare is in a period of significant change, requiring us to rethink and reshape all that we do. Right now, Congress is considering deep cuts to Medicaid and is a part of the broader federal spending decisions. Medicaid is vital to our region, with 75,000 adults, children, pregnant women, and individuals with disabilities relying on Medicaid as they do not have access to affordable private insurance. To put that in perspective, almost half of all babies born at Munson are covered by Medicaid. The legislation being discussed could cut $880 billion over 10 years. Those federal changes could also increase the state budget burden by more than $1 billion. These are significant pressures on both healthcare systems and the communities that we serve. So as we look ahead, staying informed and advocating for policies that protect access to care, especially for our most vulnerable neighbors, will be critically important. Despite these challenges, we remain committed to investing in our communities. The same purpose that has guided us over a century will guide us in the years ahead, which is to improve the lives of the people that we serve. We remain committed to navigating challenges ahead, investing in talent, infrastructure and technology, and partnering with our community to meet this pledge every day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kirsten. And it's really nice having options in our community, right, for healthcare. So we want to thank our first group of speakers. We really appreciate all of you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining us up here on stage. Truly appreciate it. And with that, we're going to welcome our second group of speakers. One more round here, so a little bit of a halftime. If you need refreshments, please grab them right now. But let's give our second group of speakers a round of applause as they enter the stage.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I'm going to pass it over here to Lisa, who is going to talk to us about economic vitality. Take it away, Lisa.
Thank you, Jeff. Economic vitality in northern Michigan is fueled by more than traditional industries. It's driven by experiences that attract visitors, extend seasons, support jobs, and strengthen local businesses. From historic resort communities to agritourism destinations, these organizations play a meaningful role in shaping how our economy grows. So we're so excited to have Megan DeWint, Executive Director of Bayview Association, and Bill Mansfield, proprietor of Lavender Hill Farms, here to join us to delve into this a little bit more. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to start with Megan and talk a little bit about Bayview, which is known as a historic summer community, but there's so much more to its role in our regional economy than many people realize. So Megan's going to talk a little bit about things with Bayview's operations that might impact or might surprise our audience today.
Thank you, Lisa. And first, I want to thank the Chamber for including us in such a group of esteemed leaders in the community. I also wanted to call out our Board of Trustees President, Walt Byers. He is in the audience along with our wonderful team. Walt is not only obviously a Bayview member and cottager, but he's local from Petoskey as well. So I'd like to just start with a quiz, because I think everyone here probably knows that we're a National Historic Landmark, and that we have 444 cottages, 168 acres of wooded trails, 2 inns, a post office, and over 30 public buildings, right? I thought so. But what I think may surprise people is just to understand how significant Bayview's economic footprint actually is. A recent study by Michigan State University estimated that our annual economic impact is at $38.2 million, supporting over 450 direct and indirect jobs throughout the region. Bayview employs 15 full-time annual staff members and nearly 200 seasonal employees, ranging from lifeguards to buildings and grounds to entertainers and college interns. Many of those are local students or young professionals getting their first professional experience. 2 great examples of that were our college interns last summer, both graduates of Petoskey High School. Lila, our summer intern in communications, was responsible for publishing our 11-week weekly newsletter. And we have kept her on this winter from her college, Northwood University, to do all of our social media. The other college intern, also Henry from Michigan State, is studying forestry. He was our buildings and grounds intern for the last 2 years, and we kept him on this winter to help support us with writing a grant for the Emergency Forestry Restoration Program, thanks to the ice storm. We are currently hiring for our summer positions. All of those are posted online, and excited to add several new positions, including a waterfront operations manager. That's a note. Tell people about that job and encourage them to apply, please. Another thing that may surprise people is that Bayview is the largest single taxpayer in Bear Creek Township. We're a part of the infrastructure that supports local services, local schools, and municipal systems. And as a Petoskey resident and also a 5th-generation Bayviewer, I think what may surprise people the most, and also surprises me, is to know that many of you don't know that Bayview's high-quality programming is open to the public. We have programming that you can access in performing arts, in worship, in recreation and education. As a 501c3 nonprofit, our mission is to enrich all lives in northern Michigan through our program areas.
It's such a great reminder that Bayview is open to everyone. And just this past summer, you had a couple incredibly famous people on the campus, including Temple Grandin and Molly Fletcher speaking. So that kind of leads me into talking about the summer programming, and also talking about how Bayview contributes to the local economy, particularly during the busy season. So that's just kind of 2 examples from last year for you.
And those were great examples, sold-out houses. Each summer alone, we offer 250 free public events, 30 musical performances, and over 60 educational classes. That foot traffic supports local restaurants, retail, lodging, and services. But Bayview's economic impact has multiple layers. Yes, we bring thousands in for our concerts, our performances, worship services, and events. But what's truly unique is the loyalty of our Bayview residents. These are not one-time tourists. These are locals with deep and generational loyalty to local businesses. They return to the same restaurants, the same shops and service providers year after year. They hire local contractors and use local health care. It was interesting, I was just at my physical therapist at Northern Michigan Sports Medicine, and we were talking, and he was telling me all these facts that he knew about Bayview, and I thought, how do you know all of this about Bayview? As I just told you, so many don't. And he said his summer business is practically, the majority of his summer business is Bayview residents coming for their physical therapy. But Bayview is also committed to being a community partner, not just economically, but philanthropically. We actively work with over 20 community partners from arts organizations to service nonprofits. As Lisa was saying, this past summer we partnered with the Petoskey Public Schools, among others, to bring Temple Grandin and offered free admission to all teachers in the Petoskey schools and the Shoreham School District. And Bayviewers generously donate to organizations like Munson Foundation, Manna Food Pantry, the Women's Resource Center, the Little Traverse Conservancy, the college, the list goes on and on. Our staff commits to volunteering at Manna Food Project monthly. Our children pack 15,000 meals for Meals of Hope program each summer. And for the past 20 years, we have hosted the annual Crop Walk for Hunger, which brings together the broader community for a shared cause. So the economic impact is real, but it's also relational. Bayview cultivates people who care deeply about this place and invest in it long-term, generation after generation. We've been around for 151 years, and we're grateful to partner in strengthening the economic vitality of this community.
Thank you so much, Megan. That's just incredible to hear, again, the impact of Bayview and a reminder of the generational families that are there, support of the community. So thank you for sharing that. We're going to jump over to Bill, and we're going to talk about agritourism, how it continues to grow across northern Michigan. And we're going to ask you, what trends or changes have you seen in visitors' expectations over the past several years, and how has Lavender Hill Farm adapted to meet them?
Well, first of all, I'm looking at the picture. Everybody else had really nice corporate headshots. I'd apologize, but it seems to be on brand. So, but you know, there are a million trends. I think one that I might highlight today is that I think all of us are feeling a deterioration in general levels of customer service. I don't care what industry you're in, we're all feeling it. And I blame Home Depot. So it was a famous Jerry Seinfeld joke. Home Depot had a tagline, "You can do it, we can help." And they responded with self-service checkout. So, you know, we start there and then we move into, I think, the evaporation of some entry-level minimum wage jobs. Fast food, for example, employees are replaced by iPads and kiosks. Moves into other restaurants now where you order your food at an iPad at your table. And now that's morphed into restaurants where you're not only ordering yourself, but you're busing yourself. All the while the restaurant is convincing you that it's cool and it's innovative. And now we can't go 5 seconds without hearing something else about AI, and with a bunch of uncertain outcomes, I think, some of which could be problematic from a customer service perspective. So if anyone has ever been to Lavender Hill Farm, one of the things that I hope you would notice and hope you would say is
we try to provide that service. I'm a customer service maniac. We train that way, and we try real hard to help you to the car with your plants and try to be good hosts on a concert night, etc. So we are in an active recruiting cycle right now. Some of this begins, from my perspective, with hiring. We're trying to hire right. And our employees don't know it yet, but we're going to be doubling down on a lot of this customer service stuff. We'll certainly be doing more of that by the time we get to May. So if I think the trend is that there's a decline in customer service broadly, we're going to buck that trend and provide more of it.
I was going to say that just gives you the opportunity with your focus on that training to just exceed everyone's expectations. So we're going to talk about, you have so much going on at Lavender Hill Farm. If you look at their schedule of events during the week, oh my goodness, there could be yoga, there could be bingo, there could be an art class. So let's talk a little bit about how your events kind of contribute a little bit more to summer as well as shoulder season economies.
Yeah, we've got over 200 events that are planned for 2026, so there's a lot coming. Hard to keep it straight, but I think of the economic benefit of that tourism two ways. I think one is slightly more obvious than the other. And so I'd start with the tourists themselves. This is measured in terms of hotel stays, central business district activity. These are the things that a visitors bureau tracks. Candidly, I think these are easy, okay, easy numbers to go get and track and consider. The second thing really comes in the form of our employees and their own spending. Some of us in this room might be able to help me figure out, I want to create an index. And the index is Lavender Hill Farm employees spending at Buffalo Wild Wings and Taco Bell. And I would call that a lagging indicator. Right? So you've got your leading indicators where we're already looking at occupancy rates and how that's shaping up into this summer. And so then the lagging part is our employees spending. We are poised to have, we'll peak at around 60 employees this summer. And again, we're starting to hire now. If any of you have kids that are service-minded, call me. We have a lot of collegiate level kids, and they start to leave us. We kick them out, send them back to campus in the middle of August. But we're not quite done. We've got weddings, we've got concerts, we have brunches, we have craft classes, we have all sorts of things in between Labor Day and Memorial Day. And so we still need some help there, and they're still spending at Buffalo Wild Wings all winter long.
So everyone can head out to your place Sunday. I believe you're doing a Valentine's special event, a little brunch.
Why, thank you. Yeah, we do. We have a brunch on Sunday the 15th, day after Valentine's Day. Thank you.
So that's great. Still keeping things going. Don't forget to stop out at Lavender Hill Farm or check out what Bayview Association has going on for 2026. Thank you, Megan and Bill, so much for your time, for being here. And Jeff, we're going to jump over to you.
You know, Bill didn't mention that 2 weeks ago I met him for the first time in New Orleans, which was pretty cool. I got a chance to meet him. We were down there for Folk Alliance. And believe it or not, the Valentine's brunch is sponsored by the Home Depot. So I just want to let you guys know that. Longtime chamber member, by the way. So we're here to talk about nonprofit organizations, and I have three wonderful women in front of me who play a critical role in supporting the well-being and resilience of Northern Michigan. And while their missions differ, each addresses a core need that strengthens our community and workforce. And today we'll hear from all three of them. Joining us is Jill Cook, Director of Community Engagement at Emmett County Friendship Center, Gail Kloss, Executive Director of the Women's Resource Center of Northern Michigan, and Caitlin Kuski, Executive Director of the Community Recovery Alliance. So welcome all three of you. We're so glad to have you guys here today. And Jill, we're going to start with you. Could you give us a brief 101 of what core needs does the Friendship Center address? Like what are you guys doing to help people, and who are you primarily serving today?
Sure. Hello. Thanks for having me. So the Friendship Centers, we serve 60 plus community in Emmett County. So everywhere from here, Cross Village, up to Mackinac City, the whole county. Our core services are Meals on Wheels. They get a meal every day, and it's also a really good wellness check, especially for people that don't have people in the community to check on them. We've got congregate daily meals, so people come in every Monday through Friday. We've got between 50 and 100 people that come in daily and have a meal at noon together. That's great for socialization. Our client services, we've got a group that will go in and do light housekeeping. They do personal care, they'll give them baths and things like that, respite care. So if a caregiver needs a break, they can go in for a couple hours, or I think 4 hours, and let them go do errands, take a nap, read a book, whatever you want to do. We have foot care, where you have to come into the center, but a lot of times when you get older, it's harder to cut your toenails or to bend down and do that, so we do that. We've got nurses that do that. And then we do weekly blood pressure screenings just to make sure you're on track for that. Transportation, so the people that can't drive anymore, or maybe just don't want to drive in the winter, so they can go to their doctor's appointments and get groceries and just run essential errands. It supports their independence and their connection with the community. We strive to be a resource hub, so if people call and they need something, we don't want them to walk away empty-handed. If we can at least get them another number to call so they don't have to, because it's, like if you think about calling somewhere and you're already overwhelmed and tired and confused, and then you call and we make you call somewhere else, we don't want to have to do that. So, and then our activities, our Richmond activities, they're ever changing, but we've got core ones that we do every week at both of our centers. We've got our Petoskey Center and our Brutus Satellite Center. And those are kind of ever changing because we try to look at who's coming, what are people enjoying, what are they not enjoying, and seniors are not scared to tell us what they like and don't like, so we change those as needed. We've got a lot of new staff that is very excited and love their jobs, and they're always bringing in new activities that are great. And we are always adapting and changing those as needed. So we're always looking for new ideas as well, and looking for new partners in the community so that we can, get our name out, and also we can be more inclusive to all the people, and are trying to make it more intergenerational so that, like I might not be thinking about it yet, but I will have to in about 10 years or so. I get to go. But on a daily basis, we serve about 500 people in the community. So.
Wow, okay. So the Friendship Center is obviously widely known for supporting seniors, and your reach continues to grow as we see our population aging. Who are you serving today that the community may not fully realize, and what role has your recent expansion played, and who you'll serve in the future as well?
Yeah, so some of the things that people usually don't know about is we've got support groups. We've got a grief group that meets every week, which has been very helpful to a lot of people. That just started about a year ago. And then we have a caregiver support group, diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia. So those support groups are all important for people working through those issues. We also have a loan closet that has durable medical equipment. So, and you don't have to be 60 to borrow that equipment. There's a shed in the back. It's open all day. You can go in and take what you need, walkers, wheelchairs, whatever, if you had surgery and you need recovery, and then just return it if you can. We don't take any names or anything, just take it if you can. We also have a essential needs program. It's a fund where we get grants and donations from the community. And so if people need, like, for example, in the winter, if someone runs out of propane, we can help them fill that. Or if they need medications, we don't want them to have to choose between food and medication, because those things can be expensive, and a lot of seniors need a lot of different medications. So Just remember that we have that. We also have a notary service, which is me. So if you need anything notarized, I can do that. I travel a little bit. I go to the Villa a lot. We've got a volunteer program for anyone 60 or over that just helps out in the community. They come in and pack Meals on Wheels meals up, and just it gives them a sense of purpose and something to do. You know, after you retire, you can get kind of bored. So we also host other groups like the Quilters Guild. We have lunch meetings there. The Farmers Market, the Old Town Emmett County Farmers Market, they use our parking lot in the summer. So that's a nice collaboration. And for the expansion, we added 900 square feet onto our dining room. So now when we can have our larger events there. We don't have to rent out space. We get new faces in a lot. We can have about 50 more people in the dining room at a time. Like for example, we had a big craft show last fall, which we will have again in March because it was very well received. So we just get to use our building for more things, and that's nice for us being a nonprofit. And yeah, I guess just, you know, we hear a lot that we're a hidden gem in the community, but we love that, but we don't want to be hidden. We want people to know who we are. We want people to go, oh, I'm going to call a friendship center, you know, and like I said, our commitment is that we don't want people to leave empty-handed. So anyone that we can help or get to someone that can help, that's what we want to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jill. And she also bailed us out right before the holidays when we had poinsettias from the last event we did, the Celebration of Champions. The place we normally drop them off to couldn't accept them, and so Jill was kind enough to take those. And believe it or not, those were actually donated by the Home Depot. I'm not even making this up. Legitimately, were donated by the Home Depot. So anyways,
Stop it already
it's
with the
pretty
Home
crazy.
Depot
I know,
thing.
I know.
I mean, I could bring up that Jill and I went to high school downstate together.
We're moving on. Okay. So Gail, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. It's good to see you. And Gail and I have known each other for a long time, and she's the executive director at the Women's Resource Center. And Gail, I think about everything you guys do for our community and the people you support. Can you tell us briefly what core needs the Women's Resource Center addresses, and who do you primarily serve?
Yeah, I would be happy to. Thank you. And thank the Chamber for bringing us all together. Really appreciate that. At the Women's Resource Center of Northern Michigan, we serve survivors of domestic abuse, sexual assault, trafficking, and stalking, and their families who are living through situations that most of us hope we never experience. We serve 5 counties. We serve Sheboygan, Otsego, Antrim, Charlevoix, and Emmett County. In Emmett County, we have our safe home, and we have our main administrative building. We also have 2 gold mine resale stores. And then we have satellite offices in Sheboygan and in Gaylord and in Mansalona. So we have a wide range of service that we provide. We serve survivors who leave a home with generally nothing but their children and maybe a couple bags. We serve kids who have been seen, heard, and experienced things that children should not have to carry. We serve individuals who are trying to make impossible decisions. Decisions like, should I stay in this unsafe situation or should I step into uncertainty and no safety net? So we really try to be that agency, that person, that advocate who can help you in difficult moments and make sure that you do not feel alone. Through our safe home, we provide immediate safety. We provide advocacy and counseling. We help survivors navigate legal systems that most people don't have to navigate. We help them with housing challenges. We've heard about housing today. And we really help support them through that emotional aftermath of trauma. Through our Children's Advocacy Center, we offer a coordinated response with trauma-informed care for children. Prior to this is a national model. Prior to this, children might need to be interviewed by maybe their principal, maybe Child Protective Services, maybe law enforcement, maybe the prosecuting attorney. This model brings all of those disciplines together, and the hope is that child will only need to tell their story one time, and that is with a trained forensic interviewer in a very comfortable space, and really trying to just reduce that trauma, and then as soon as they're done, they can talk to a therapist or an advocate and help support them. Through our education and employment services, we have an office at North Central Michigan College. So when North Central was up here talking about those fast track programs, we are connecting survivors with those resources and helping them regain their financial independence and regaining control over their futures. Our Children's Learning Center is a community preschool where anybody can attend, including survivors' children, so parents can work outside of the home and rebuild their stability. One of the things that I like best about the Women's Resource Center is you can kind of use bits and pieces of our resources. Maybe you don't need the safe home as a resource. Maybe you have a safe place to stay, but maybe you need to connect with an advocate that will help you fill out the paperwork for a personal protection order. Those are systems that most people don't know anything about. We know that this work is really hard. It's heavy, but it's also very hopeful because every day we see people take steps forward. We walk alongside them as they rebuild their lives.
It's amazing, Gail, and I think when everyone hears these stories, it's hard to believe that this does happen in our community. It is actually prevalent. The Women's Resource Center has expanded both facilities and programming recently. And what do you want the community to know, the needs that you're seeing right now, as far as how you're expanding your services and how you guys are responding to them?
Yeah, I think I've talked a little bit about it. I think one of the most important things that our community needs to understand is the challenges that families are facing today are rarely just one issue at a time. They're layered and interconnected. So we're seeing survivors navigating housing crisis, struggling to find affordable child care, facing food insecurity, and just access to basic needs. Trying to find meaningful employment while also navigating a complex legal system. So just letting everybody know that these issues are not siloed, that they just compound each other. Through and by the way, we are co-winners of the Architect Award through the Chamber. Thank you very much. As you can see up on the screen, that is our new facility. Through our Empowering Bright Futures campaign, we were able to build a new trauma-informed space, bringing many of our services under one roof, allowing us to better respond to individuals. The centralized facility is so important. A survivor might come to us for safety, but also receive advocacy support, therapy support, employment services, childcare, all in a coordinated care effort for them to best regain their control of their life. This integrated approach really reduces barriers, having everything under one roof, shortens wait times, protects privacy, and allows families to focus on healing and stability instead of navigating multiple systems on their own. We're very, very proud of the progress we've made, but we also know there's still work ahead. Our new space will help us continue to grow our capacity across programs and will help meet these complex needs even more effectively. Right now, we are in the middle of hopefully closing our capital campaign. We currently have a $250,000 matching gift that will help us reach our finish line and finish strong and be able to use this space to its fullest potential. Ultimately, we work to meet families where they are. We walk alongside them as they move towards safety, stability, healing, and long-term independence. And this community, when I see all of the people here, when I see all of the other agencies here, as a community, we are all working together to accomplish that.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Gail. We truly appreciate it. And Caitlin, it's your turn now. I'm going to bring us home here until we turn it over here to Nikki. But I would say probably not a lot of people know about your organization, right? And so what can you briefly tell us regarding the core needs you address at the Community Recovery Alliance, and who are you primarily serving here in our community?
Yeah, so we are your local recovery hub. So we are not treatment, we're not prevention, we're not harm reduction. We are your hub to all things recovery, and we serve people at all stages of their recovery journey. So we view recovery as a continuum, so whether somebody is thinking about and we're talking about recovery from substance use disorder, which includes alcohol use, but also any what we call process addictions. So we serve all of those people, and you can come and see us at any point in that journey. So whether you're just rethinking your relationship with substance to somebody who's been in recovery for 50 years, we have supports and services for everybody in between. So we want to be that hub, like you were talking about, that we want to be able to connect you to whatever resources you need to help you continue your journey. We're really about reducing those barriers to recovery. We don't accept insurance. Because we're not clinical, we use peer-based services, or what we call recovery coaches, which is somebody with lived experience. They've been through what the person's been through. They've made it to the other side, and they can share that hope and joy of recovery and say, hey, look, you can do it too. We really focus on recovering out loud. Many people, I'm sure everyone in this room knows about AA, but you might not know that there's other pathways to recovery too. There's other types of meetings you can go to, like Smart Recovery or Dharma Recovery. And just like we don't expect everybody to love McDonald's or Home Depot, some people might want to go to Lowe's. So we have... So there's other options. So we know that AA is very well represented in our community, so we have a lot of other meetings that can be used in conjunction with an AA meeting, or if somebody doesn't resonate with AA, they can come and check out some of our other meetings. So for services that we offer, we have meetings every day at noon. We have peer recovery coaches on staff every day. Everything is no cost and very low barriers. You just come in and say hi. We're a community center, so if you just want to come in and watch TV and play our new Nintendo Switch, you're more than welcome to. If you want to come check out our library or use our computers to apply for a job, we've got all of those services available, and we will support the individual, the family, the friends. We have a lot of family members that come to us and say, where do I start? How can I talk to my loved one about this issue? We also help a lot of people. I'm sure most of you guys know that there's 2 really big treatment centers in our area. So as people are leaving treatment, they come to CRA, Community Recovery Alliance, and we help them reintegrate back into their community. Another group that we serve are people who are leaving incarceration or jail. We can help them reintegrate back into their community as well. We have the coaching services, we have recovery meetings, and then we do a lot of what we call pro-social events. If you live in northern Michigan and it's the middle of February and you want to go out on a Friday night, where does everybody go tonight? You go to the local bar, you go to the restaurant, you have a drink with your friends. If you don't drink, where do you go, what do you do? We have a lot of events to show you that recovery is fun too. So we're having a big Super Bowl party on Sunday. A big game party on Sunday. I'm not supposed to say what it is. And so we're going to have everybody at the center to watch the game. There's a Valentine's Day dance coming up. Just lots of fun things to remind people that recovery is fun.
So you touched on it briefly, Caitlin, as far as we know how deeply personal recovery can be, and it's also about connection and belonging to a community. And so you touched on it briefly, but how is your organization supporting those individuals, including those in the workforce, in ways that reduce the stigma and really make those people feel like they're welcome and part of our community?
Yeah, so in the recovery community, we have a very well-known saying that the opposite of addiction is connection. So we're trying to help people build those connections, build their community, recovering out loud so that other people know that they can recover too. There was a reason why the A in Alcoholics Anonymous, there was a reason in our society for a long time that we relied on that anonymous factor, that you could go into a meeting and not have to talk about, and it wouldn't be talked about outside that meeting. But the other side of that is that everybody oftentimes would feel that they were alone in their recovery. Whereas if you've employed anybody or if you have a family member, I'm sure everybody in this room has been touched by addiction or substance use in some way. We all know somebody, we've employed somebody, our loved ones have struggled with these issues. So we want to make sure that we're bringing that out loud and showing everybody that it's possible. So in doing all of those things, that's how we're trying to reduce the stigma. And yeah, the multiple pathways. And really recovery is about making your own journey. It's like you said, it's very unique and everybody has to find their own pathway. What worked for one person isn't gonna work for the next person. So our coaches are really there to help you find your pathway, whatever combination that looks like. If you like to meditate or you like to go to the gym, you like to attend meetings in person, or you're really not a very social person and you'd rather just attend a meeting on Zoom, we have all of those options available. A couple other ways that we're helping to reduce the stigma. One barrier for a lot of people in this community is transportation. And it's, as we know, transportation is very hard in this community. And if you've lost your driver's license because of a substance use disorder, that can make living in rural northern Michigan even harder. So we do a lot at the community center to help people get their license back. So no matter where you are, if you need help getting your license back and you're going through that journey, we can walk alongside you as you figure out what paperwork to fill out and which forms and where to sign and what day to sign it on and all of that. And then the next slide, the other thing that we do that's really relevant for everybody here is our Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative. It's a statewide initiative that is training businesses on how to help and support employees on your team who are in recovery or struggling with substance use. So like I said, if you've employed anybody, if you have any employees on your team or you manage anybody on your team, you have or will have somebody in recovery on your team eventually. So how can we help those individuals? How can we be supportive workplaces? And so the state of Michigan came up with this program. We are one of the training sites. So you get trained through CRA, and then you get state level recognition for that. It is no cost for the training. It's 4 one-hour modules. But we understand, we say no cost and not free because your time is not free. So it does require 4 hours of your time. But one of the nice things about it is that then we're able to send one of our recovery coaches to your business if you ever do have an issue. So we have a couple of leaders in this community. Montai was our first recovery friendly workplace that did the training up here. They were one of the first in the state of Michigan to complete the training, and they're really leading the way on this effort. But just this week, we were training Moeller Aerospace and Grain Train. So all businesses of all sizes can do this training, and if you're interested and want to know how you can better support your employees, we get a huge portion of people that come into our center that are looking for jobs. So the more recovery-friendly workplaces we have, the more we can help you guys find employees for the jobs you need. We have people who need jobs, so let's connect everybody. We are also helping on the employee end. We help people come in and we help them write their resume. We do mock interviews with them. We talk about how to address issues with gaps in your resume or things like that. So we're trying to help both the employee and the employer there, which I think is going to be an important one for this group.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I thank all three of you for the conversation. And I'm going to pass over to Nikki here to bring us home. Go ahead, Nikki.
I wasn't aware that I would have to do a disclaimer that Home Depot is a member and well-loved. Lowe's is a member and well-loved. Sheesh, guys.
I'm never going to be invited back now.
None of you are. But I do want to say that I think the last panel, if you haven't picked up on anything, a theme, it's that learning supports that are there within our community that maybe you didn't know about, regardless of what the organization is. And the recovery, ooh, is that you or me? The recovery group is absolutely a one to really truly look at as an employer, as an organization, because when we talk about where our employees are, there are employees. They may not look like the employees you always had, so become a recovery-friendly workspace does help you start to understand and how to navigate some of those challenges. So thank you to our wonderful panel for talking about supports of all kinds. We're going to talk about a different kind of support now. This is my very good
something.
friend. Yes. So we're going to talk advocacy. So we're going to bring it on home with the most uplifting topic we could come up with.
It's a Friday afternoon. I'm ready to really excite you guys to go home and think about politics this weekend. All right.
They should have never put us up here. So advocacy is so important, and if you know me at all, you know I talk a lot about the Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance and the importance of Northern Michigan's voice being heard in statewide decision making. That the Alliance represents now 21 economic development organizations and chambers. We represent over 7,000 businesses. That's a pretty big voice. I will tell you this, we come up against Grand Rapids, Detroit, and many others, and we hold our own. But we do that because we take the issues that matter to Northern Michigan and we listen. And we figure out just how to have those big conversations in Lansing. And the only way we do that is with our director of the Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance, Dakota Baker. So we're going to start. We got 3 questions. We're not going to keep anybody past time. He knows me well enough that I will keep him on time.
We're going to do Minute to Win It right now.
Let's go. All right, so Lansing's landscape is evolving. That's a very nice way for us to put it. It is ever changing, but from your perspective, what feels different right now for our region when it comes to us actually having policy discussions and decision making?
Well, that was a very good PC way to put that phrase. There was a time where, to answer this question, I would have really been walking on eggshells, but that's not today. So one of the things, that I've learned through my time, I have a long storied background as a staffer, and I now am here focusing on the region of the state that I love the most, and that's Northern Michigan. One thing is just the tremendous power that resides in the leadership offices in Lansing. The office of the governor, the speaker, the majority leader in the Senate. There's such a consolidation of power into those specific offices. It is so important that our elected officials are uniting with a common voice for our region as a whole. We're already underrepresented. I'm sure many of you who have been to these events in the past or who have engaged in any sort of advocacy work have heard this phrase, we're underrepresented. Out of the 148 people in the state that we elect to represent us in Lansing, depending on where you draw the line as Northern Michigan, there's a difference of opinion there. I would argue there's about 20 that we have out of 148. So we already are a marginalized voice in Lansing, and we need that voice to be locked armed together. I will say a positive note, not all is bad. We have a great Northern Caucus. We do. Republican, Democrat, both sides of the aisle. Our Northern legislators, Rep. Fairbairn, Senator DeMoose, and many of their colleagues are deeply passionate about the communities they serve. And that is a fact. They care a lot about it. They care a lot about making sure that we have a voice and that we are heard. And there is a lot of pressure coming from Lansing. In Lansing, you have leadership. You have leadership trying to get you to do things on behalf of their agenda. And this is one of those times, if we're talking about changes in Lansing and changes in things, where I would argue it's more important now than really ever before that our Northern Caucus lines up putting the region first, understanding that there are reasons you have to play with your team. You have to make deals to get things done. That's the way it works. That's government, that's difference of opinion, that's society, that's compromise. But we really need them to lock in and prioritize district first always, and then everything else can follow suit. So, I've seen already some of that in some of the conversations I've been having. I know our Northern Caucus is getting ready to hold the line on Northern Michigan's needs and priorities this year, so I'm encouraged. I'm excited to see what we can accomplish, but I think it's so important that we, as society, as the communities that they represent, are explaining to our elected officials that we're watching that, we're paying attention to that, and we need to see that voice for us together as a community.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I've said to you many times, and I've said to many others, and you're laying the groundwork for it perfectly, is it is not a red and blue in Michigan where you stand. It's a north and south. And that's why agencies like the Alliance, that's why our group and having this collectiveness is so very important for our region, because it truly becomes, when you get to Lansing, no matter how well you get along with the state officials, which we do very well, it still becomes a north versus south. So because we face our challenges quite differently than our urban counterparts, explain a little bit why that regional approach is so important and how it strengthens. I mentioned that we have some big counterparts that have usually get all the attention. So talk a little bit about how the alliance has been able to strengthen themselves.
Great, and thank you for asking me that one. So I think the ticket here is to really talk about the great strength we have as a region. You know, Northern Michigan is large. We have a large footprint. The Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance covers a footprint that is slightly bigger than the 1st Congressional District, which is nearly half of our state's landmass. I mean, we're talking the entire Upper Peninsula and the Northern Lower. It's an incredible geographic array, and within that, we have such a large, this is our big strength, by the way, we have such a large, diverse spread of communities with another large, equally diverse spread of industry and personality that go with each of those communities. I mean, Petoskey is very different than Gaylord, which is very different than Traverse City, which is very different than Marquette, which is very different than the Sioux. And that's like, I'm digging this deep. We've got a tremendous array of opportunity because almost no matter what, we are sought out now. The Chamber Alliance has grown, and we are sought out by elected officials from downstate on occasion because they know that we have a dog in almost every fight. Somewhere within our footprint, we have a community that has an issue with whatever they're legislating on. And because we speak with a united voice as a region and not just out of own self-interest, they know that we're going to be there to lend valued advice, good experiences, and we're going to be there to help guide that conversation in a positive way. So I think that's one of our biggest strengths as a region. And it's really exciting to see that if you were to take the theme of today, and frankly, I was at this event last year too in the audience, we talked a lot about this community and how strong and resilient this community is because it looks out for each other. All of the different members of this community, all of you in this room are already doing the first great thing by being engaged and being here. And you guys look out for each other, and that's what makes you so resilient, and that's what gives you so much strength. And if you were to take that and zoom out and look at the state of Michigan and look at Northern Michigan as a community, our footprint is a community, and you guys are an important member of that community. And so you advocate for your own needs and desires, but we also support the Sioux and Traverse City and Gaylord together. And that's one thing where I'll end on this before I start rambling and losing people. Coming from the government world, being a staffer for so long, I can tell you with absolute certainty there is a tremendous amount of respect for the Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance and for this region because we are loyal to each other. We are locked in together. And you oftentimes, I can tell you, I've seen it time and time again, where groups will come in to advocate for something, looking out for one another, and they'll advocate for a set of priorities. And then a little while later, or on another day or something, somebody will come back and be like, hey, Dakota, so yeah, I know we talked about this really awesome list of things, and these are really great, and we want to see them happen, but let me tell you what really matters for us in this group. And they kind of like go off on their own tangents, and Northern Michigan does not do that. And that's huge because we are really locked in together, and that strengthens the Northern Caucus members to be able to follow that lead. So
yes.
As long as we can continue that, I think we're going to be continuing to make great strides.
Excellent. All right, last question. We're going to bring it all home. It's going to be a pivotal year in politics. Surprise. Nobody knew this. Read the reports. Our electeds did a really good job. I will say that for sure, because it's really good to hear from them on a state level too. But I want to know, there are a few policy areas that are legislative conversations based that our business and community leaders, individuals, no matter how engaged you are in politics, you should be paying attention to over the next coming year. Name just a couple of them for us.
Great, and Nikki, feel free, you know as much as I do, so if I miss one that you would like me to touch on, throw it out there and I'll start rambling on it. But I've got a couple of things we're really excited about. One thing I know for a fact is, and this is a personal thing for me, I'm really excited about it, I promise I haven't been paid off to say this. I'm so thrilled for NCMC's dental hygienist program. I cannot wait to push on that in Lansing this year. Yep. And it is one of the Chamber Alliance's top priorities. So super exciting for this community and such a critical thing for the region. No, come on, clap, guys. No golf claps either. Like real claps for that. That's huge. I'm fired up to go push for that because it's such a great program. So that's one thing locally here, but there are a ton of really exciting and interesting things happening. I know for a fact economic development and energy are going to be two huge topics that are going to not only drive conversations but elections this year. There's a lot of conversations about energy, and just coming off of the largest Northern Michigan policy conference we've ever had, we had over 630 people in Traverse City from across the state 2 weeks ago to talk about some of these issues. And the cost of energy, I really appreciate Carlin mentioning that. And he and his team have been amazing about watching out for that for our region. There's going to be a lot that goes on with cost of energy, data centers, some of these big hot topics that are going to drive the conversations. I would also argue that economic development, with all of the changes we saw in Lansing over the past year with the MEDC and some of these big conversations surrounding the big coffee machines or the quote $1 million hammers and things, there's a lot of appetite to restructure the MEDC and kind of hold some more transparency to the office. And I think we are really well positioned. We're actively working on some wage hiring incentive bills right now with the committee chairs, and we are actually engaging, and they're changing some of these bills along with our voice, because we're trying to prioritize our region, mostly rural and small business focus, to make sure we're benefiting just as much as Detroit, Grand Rapids, or some of these other areas. So you're going to see great stuff there. One thing I want to highlight, it's just south of us, but I know we're going to see the impacts of it up here, is the Northern Defense Corridor and the designation we just got at Camp Grayling with NADWIC. We're a federally designated test site now, and that is a huge thank you to Senator Slotkin, Congressman Bergman, Senator Peters, the Speaker, Parker, Fairbairn, Representative Fairbairn, I should probably say, Senator DeMoose. Our northern legislators really united. Everybody did. Bipartisan, everybody was on board with that to really set Michigan as the leader for unmanned, uncrewed aerial systems testing, military, medical, commercial. It's going to be awesome. We're going to see a ton of, I think, press and media go throughout the year as that moves along. And I think it's going to continue to evolve. I mean, the winds of politics blow and they change swiftly. So that's one thing I will kind of reiterate one more time, is the resiliency of our communities is going to be the big boiling point. And I have to say it again, this is my ending message to all of you guys. So you are here in this room right now. You are a very small subset of our general population of people. You're engaged, you care. That's incredibly impressive. And if I had to leave you with two things to think about, number one, I need you to carry that forward into your community. I need you to talk to those who maybe aren't here today or maybe are not as engaged necessarily, and I need you to get them engaged as we move into our elections. That's so important. The voice of the community has to resonate. Number two, I need you to use your chamber. Okay, the alliance is really growing. It's growing in attention, strength, numbers, and Petoskey's a key player in that, but Petoskey can only talk to us about what we need to do as long as you're telling them, Nikki, and the team, what you need. So I need you to use your chamber as your advocate to empower us to affect that change for you. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. So.
Thank you, Dakota. Thank you so much. All right, Jeff, this is it.
This is it. And I'm expecting that everyone at NCMC is going to have a big white smile here within a year. You guys already have beautiful smiles, but we're really excited to see what that looks like. So what a powerful program, right? And we think we might have got you here out on time. One of the things I truly appreciate about this event the most is that it brings so many important conversations into one place, right? And so we didn't hear of everything today, but you have those QR codes that you can read the reports. And I really do encourage you, if you have time this weekend, I know that the Olympics are starting yesterday and the opening ceremonies tonight, and we've got a big game coming up here this weekend. But please do take the time, maybe on Monday morning, to check out those reports. What we heard today reinforces a clear message. Our region has its challenges, but it's rich with leadership and collaboration and opportunity, and the insights shared today serve as a catalyst for collaboration and for informed decision-making and for continued engagement across all sectors. And I believe the state of our community right now is very strong. Okay, I think we live in a very special place, and we're very lucky to have a lot of great leaders and people in our community that really deeply care about the outcomes for future generations. And so remember, there's 38 reports. Please take a deeper dive into that report. On behalf of all of us, I want to thank Lisa and Nikki and Emily and Molly, all of us from the Chamber. Thank you for our speakers today that were able to share their time, their insights, and their leadership. And Emily, thank you so much for putting the reports together. I know how much work that is, and we truly appreciate everything you do for the Chamber. We want to thank our sponsors, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Consumers Energy, OHM Advisors, Networks Northwest, Munson Healthcare, Amazon Hub. We truly appreciate it, and we couldn't do this event without you. And a few unnamed sponsors that we mentioned that didn't pay for their sponsorship, but they got some free publicity today. We want to thank them too. We want to thank the Adawa Casino, and we love our partnership with the tribe, and we want to continue that partnership. We really, truly appreciate everything you do in our community. We want to thank Little Trevor's Furniture and Mattress for making the stage look great. We want to thank Dewan and Alpine Media for filming this so that people that couldn't see this could get a chance to see it at some point in the future. And thank you to all of you. Being a part of this year's State of the Community is important. It's important that we have community engagement. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the role that you play in shaping the future of Northern Michigan. We wish you safe travels. We look forward to continuing the conversation. Please leave people better than when you found them. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.